So you want to make money and you're considering using Airbnb to make money. The biggest secrets to a successful Airbnb, I guess it's not really a secret now, is it, if I'm sharing it with you, but it is the basements. I know it sounds super dodgy, but from the comfort and safety of your home where you're watching this, I'm going to show you the secrets to successful Airbnbs, which again, I said it's in the basements, so let's get straight to it. Now, I'm going to show you guys some really cool things down here. So this is in lieu of, if you've got a big home, right, you might want more than just a closet to keep your cleaning supplies. So this is like off limits for guests, right? But this is just an example of one of my basements where the cleaners only, maintenance only, it's an unfinished basement. Right, they can get some paint over here if they need to do some touch-ups to the wall. That's how you rewind the house. If you start to use your magic wipes, magic scrubbers, you can take the paint off. Whereas using paint, right, just painting little patches, using a roller, not a brush, use a roller, and you learn the techniques that way. You're applying roughly even pressure, and you can really, if there's handprints on the wall, if there's, prints because people they're using their suitcase and the suitcase is scratching the wall. You want to rewind the place to make it look nicer. You can just patch over with the same paint that you're using there. Again, we have our oil machine here. So we got the oil tank rather here. We got our water heater over here, making sure that the heat, the water doesn't come off right in your face. It comes down there. That's the release. We have extra up here. We have very old, but still working. It's important to do these every year. This is a dehumidifier, by the way. I actually like this one. Very, very good, this Honeywell. You got to change it every 2 weeks if it's running, typically speaking, but it's good to basically to lengthen the life in a lot of these old houses with the wooden, almost unfinished basics. Now, you may be wondering, why are all these pallets here? Well, this is the trick, is that if you want to avoid a lot of the issues, the damages that could be caused by flooding. Now, I haven't had any flooding here, thank God, touch wood. But the pallets, all you do is you ask for permission around to local places. Ask for permission at the shops, like, is it possible? Would it be okay if I take some of the pallets? And then you can get them. You can go around back if they give you permission, and you can bring them home with you in your car a little bit over time, rather than paying about $100 per pallet. And what you do then is you can lift stuff off the ground, and it just lowers the probability that you're going to get your stuff ruined. Again, we're not using this basement really much anymore. The new team now, they have an own warehouse, but we used to have loads of things down here, like your spare supplies of sheets, etc. So you can go having 2 of spares plus the one that you're being using, so 3 in total. So if you have 10 sheets, have 30 sheets, right? So we also have spare things like smoke detectors, Q-tips I used to provide. I no longer do that. Sometimes I used to provide water filters and things, extra other things as well. Now this is a real pro tip right here, right? So these things here, makeup removers, rather than let's say people using the towels to wipe off their makeup, right? Have a few of these, they're gonna save your towels. We have coffee filters. We have, again, some spares like our table mats. We got some extra oil. You have extra cleaning for the dishwasher, extra soap, all kinds of spares, extra remote controls, because they're the things that go sometimes, and their batteries, you can't, maybe you pay for the batteries a few times, but they eventually go and it takes a while to get. So rather than getting complaints from the guests, have some spares for the remote controls. Big pro tip right there. Now we also have some other things like your Allen key wrenches, hexagonal wrenches is sometimes called, hammers. You'll never know when you're going to use these things to fix little things. Cleaners might need these little small things like that. So having spares of everything if possible. Now I have another property nearby and has a lot more things. So this is looking quite Spartan right now. It's quite spare. There's very few things left in here relative to what it used to look like. This place used to be really, really full with things, but it's no longer as full. Now I keep this cleaning area, look, it's so big because you need it for a big home like this, right? Where you have 3-4 floors, 10 to 12, 10 guests in this place or more. If you've got like 3-4 bedrooms, really anything more than 2 or 3 bedrooms, you're really thinking about having a separate place like this. Now we're no longer using this. We're using a different warehouse now for everything combined. But you want to make sure that it's not like accessible to guests. It's a little dark, apologies in advance. There's a light in here, I'm going to switch it on, but I don't need to for now. This is just basically for their, they get access here, they got a little wash tank, they got their washer, dryer, and they can walk through, they'll come through the basement, they go through that door, then there's another door. Some zombies, I think, on the left potentially, but no, it's just a really old house. Everything is good, everything is kosher. We got the stain. You want to have that. You don't want soft metal, you want hard metal. Don't take soft metal, hard metal. Don't cheap out there, for your dryer. You want everything done to code, okay? You need to have the right pipes, the right copper, etc. So don't cheap out on plumbing or electric. Have that. That's really, really one of the first things you want to do. Demo, then plumbing and electric, all right? And then you can start building up from there. So this was an extra door I put on here. It was actually originally all open, but that really separated. It meant that I could lock this place up and leave it separate so the guests wouldn't come down here. So it was just a perfect place. But this is my trick for a lot of the places, is to have a separate place, unfinished, right? Because you don't really get value unless you can have a walkout basement, all right? They don't typically add the square footage in your house. So when you're getting, let's say, a loan for another property and they're basing the value on the property, etc., and they're doing things like that, if you have an extra bedroom, you can't really qualify. So I would say one of the last places to invest in, personal opinion here, when they're doing qualifications here and they're doing reappraisals, they don't typically look at the basement. It's one of the last things they'll do. So in terms of the square footage, let's say, of the home, or if there's an extra bedroom. Now down here, you're not allowed to rent down here. It's not properly done. If it was fully done, you might be able to rent it, but even though you could put maybe an extra bedroom, and that was some people were advising me, there's no point, because you're not going to be able to reevaluate the properties, the property price, etc. And you're not going to be able to qualify yourself much based on this particular thing, unless there was an egress, a proper walkout basement. This one, it goes through some Bilco shelter doors, kind of at an angle, so it's not the same. Like, sure, you can walk up the stairs, but I would leave this as one of the last things to renovate. Okay, so we're going to close the door. By the way, this is a different lock. So this is just an electronic lock, not a Wi-Fi lock. So it's a very different system. And it does have batteries, but you have to kind of hardwire, or hard code rather, the code into it, right? It can't be controlled electronically because it's not supposed to be for guests. Okay, so this one here, much cheaper lock. This was just a mistake that was done beforehand. So this is just this one lock here. And I have this in a lot of my properties as well. This particular lock, all my properties right now, currently.
Hey, so now that we're out of the basement, let me give you something completely free. The short-term rental starter kit is a guide that you can click below to download. Look, it gives you everything that you need to get into your first profitable short-term rental and get that cash flow. So let's build wealth one property at a time, and I'll see you in the next one.